He turned the car on in the garage, and my fucking porn came through the Bluetooth.
Ask her. I heard Dean Blundell smokes crack. Was actually the first to smoke it with Rob Ford, I heard, too.
What's Dean got to do with it? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a Dean.
States rated R for, restricted and for a little bit romantic.
What do we got?
What is that in the background?
What is that over there by the mic?
Is he making wallets? What is he doing?
What's he doing?
It looks like he's... Never mind.
What's he doing? What? Is he dead?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
Hi, welcome. Hi, everybody. Nice to look at all these faces. We got faces we haven't seen in a while. We got faces that we see all the time. Welcome to the show. My name is Dean. On my left or right, depending on how you're looking at us, John Guarnieri, who is a former Secret Service agent to the President of the United States, Barack Obama, right there, just above Locke. He's also the host of Spear Talk, a security podcast, one of our biggest. It's huge, where he interviews everybody from Dr. Stephen Greer about aliens to actors like Flash Gordon. It is maybe my favorite podcast and the one that you're not listening to. If you haven't, please go and pick it up. You can get them on YouTube. Again, Spear Talk on YouTube, anywhere you get your fine podcasts. Good to see you, Johnny. Good to see you, baby.
Man, it's good to be back, and I'm glad I got your message on Monday or Tuesday saying to jump on here.
Yeah, I am too, because you were balls deep in researching UFOs, and that's what we want to talk about today, so thank you.
Yeah, I was actually reading and writing the last chapter of the Project Blue Book, so I'm putting that together.
Blue Book, like for cars?
What's that book that they did in the 40s and 60s that basically documented all the UFO stuff? Mm-hmm. And the Air Force General, all these people that had these signed affidavits and stuff, are basically coming out saying, hey, we knew all this stuff back in the 40s, 42, 43, 46. These are all the videos we've already seen, which when that starts coming out, my first thought is, well, what's happened since that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah. Like what else is out there for sure.
Right.
We'll get into it in the podcast today. That's why I'm really excited you're here. So thanks, John. Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM at Edmonton, host of this program as well. He joins us at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Good to see you. Fresh from the chiropractor, which is nice.
I just got snapped. Holy fuck.
Afraid to go to the fucking chiropractor because I hear stories about chiropractors that are like, I'll fix your back. And then you don't walk out of there. You get wheeled out in a chair. Yeah.
No, that's never happened to me, and I go on a fairly regular basis. The other thing too is tomorrow's shit is going to be twice as long as the one I had today. I don't know why, but I always have a raging shit after I go to the chiropractor. I know you guys probably don't want to hear about that. And tomorrow morning, I will wake up with a boner.
Oh, so congrats.
Say whatever you want about the chiropractor. Better shit tomorrow.
Morning wood.
Yeah. And that's not, I'm 51 now.
Yeah.
I don't always wake up with a boner.
Graham Kritzer, speaking of people that wakes up with boners, he joins us as well. I haven't seen Graham in a long time. And he's fresh off the DL. I'm going to read you a DM I got from him. Now, keep in mind, Graham hasn't been on the show for a while.
I see you went and spent all your Google ad money on a sweet little intro there, Diener. That looks pretty good.
I didn't do that. Chris did it. We didn't spend a dime.
You know, also drives.
That was sarcasm.
Jeez, crazy.
This is Kritzer just a couple of days ago. We were podcasting last January, not this January, last January, when the China virus, as we called it back then, or the virus in Wuhan, we didn't know it was called COVID-19 at the time. It was called coronavirus, if you remember. It used to be called coronavirus, and we were talking, oh, look at the sulfites in the air around Wuhan are so high from burning bodies that they can't even breathe. And he's like, that's no big deal. Fuck COVID. So a year and a half later, and I got this email or this tweet from him, and it was tremendous. He's like, guess where I've been for the past 3 weeks? I'm assuming you had COVID.
That is correct.
How did you get it?
It was on sale at Walmart. I picked it up. It was in the clear out bin. right next to a Roadhouse. Copy a Roadhouse.
Yeah, good for you. No, seriously, how did you get it?
My girlfriend's son brought it home from his school, which was nice of him, and then quickly gave it to his brother, and then his mother, and then me. I was last to get it.
How was it?
I didn't get it too bad. Like I for me, it was like I don't know, like a moderate cold. Like I was really stuffed up, very exhausted, cold symptoms, but like no fever, no muscle ache, no, none of that. Like I took like 3 or 4 days off work just to like rest, just to sleep. But like my girlfriend, she had like a fever of like 103 and a bit for like 3 or 4 days. She had trouble breathing. She was like basically bedridden for a week. Like she had it full blown. And my superior genes and immune system allowed me not, thankfully I didn't get to experience the full COVID Monty. Right. I just got about to have. So would I do it again? No. But I think the difference between like this and like say your standard cold is just the length of time. Like, you get a cold and generally it's like what, maybe 3 to 5 days. This was like probably 14 to 20 days.
A couple of other differences, but
yeah,
minor. Well, for me, I mean, in my experience, aside from the elderly dying in droves,
and your girlfriend thinking she was going to die.
Yeah. No, I don't know if she was that far gone. I was reassuring, right? I had the pillow ready. I was like, "You're fine,
boy." Yeah,
you're fine.
Attaboy. She probably got good stuff.
But yeah, like it's just for me, it was just like it wasn't too bad. It was just like I'm still a bit like I'm still tired. Like I find that we all find that we get tired really easily now. Like since we've had it, and by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm ready for bed. But
how did she respond to your suggestion that your genes were superior?
I didn't
bring that up. Okay, we'll leave that here then. Yeah,
she's predominantly Italian, so it's probably I shouldn't.
Yeah,
she's already short, So
yeah. Well, good for you. I guess you don't need the shot. Are you going to get the vaccine now?
I got to test negative first, so they said I might not test negative for months. And then they recommend getting the shot, but they don't recommend getting both. Like, you get 2, I guess, because they and they're already telling me like you'll have a bad reaction probably because I already have antibodies. Now they're throwing more in, so it'll be like a big old brouhaha between the antibodies.
So it's presented a whole other fucking issue for you, right? Like it's not just about you were sick for 3 weeks or 2 weeks. It's like now
I wouldn't call it sick. Like for a week, sure, but for the remaining 2 weeks, it was just like tired,
lethargy.
Tired, yeah.
Well, that's called sick. That's also part of being sick.
Potato, Dean.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, good for you. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad no one died. Everybody else in your family good? Kids good?
Yeah, everybody's good, man. Everybody fully recovered, thankfully.
Yeah.
So, 4 out of 10 would not recommend, I guess.
We'll recommend.
Would not recommend.
Well, good. I'm glad you're good, and I'm glad you're fine. It was weird though because
have you ventured out of your house since 2 Januarys ago yet?
All the time. I go out all the time. I was out today.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was out today. I was out yesterday. I go out every day. Every day I go somewhere.
Backyard.
No, I don't. I don't even have a backyard.
How? Yeah, you're in a bunker.
I don't have a backyard.
I live in a desert somewhere.
No, I live in some residences. That's what they're called, the residences. I won't tell you where. And there's no front yard, no backyard. The residences. And across the street from me, part of the residences, there's a beautiful, nice park. So I go there all the time. I'll also go to the grocery store to get groceries. I went and got my vaccine the other day, which was really nice. Went to the grocery store, got that. Good. The old no frills vaccine right here. Yeah. In fact, I've got my piece of paper here that says I'm vaccinated, which I'm going to need to probably get in to see the movies or go to dinner. That's what that looks like.
Your papers.
Yeah. That's my
Vaxxed
passport.
and
Hey,
waxed.
boys!
Not bad, huh?
Good job. I'm proud of you.
I know. I'm really happy
Come
that I
on,
got it.
man.
I'm excited that I got it. And I'm shocked that you got COVID, seeing this you didn't think it was real a year ago.
I never. Okay. Don't even.
You didn't though.
Of course,
You
I thought it was
chastised
real.
it.
I
You
said it was
chastised it on
being-
the show. You were making fun of it the whole fucking time. You're
Yeah,
like,
I said the
no big deal.
severity of it is being overblown, and I said it's predominantly affecting old people and sick people. And am I wrong?
No,
No,
but you got it.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
you
say
don't
it
want it
wasn't
again.
real. I just said it was being overblown at the time, and then
All right.
whatever. You were
Well,
like,
I'm
"It's
glad you
coming.
did.
We're all gonna die. Dig
glad
a
you
fucking hole." Ah! And that was you every show. Every show. And then we were like, "No, Dean, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna be okay."
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we've only
50-50.
few million people dead later. No big deal. Well, listen, I'm glad you're here. John's here, Locke's here, and we'd be silly not to start talking about why we're here, which is aliens. I think all of us now are a little geeked up because the Pentagon's going to release some information. We got a whole bunch of videos coming out yesterday. A new video of this, which we'll get to, this pyramid-shaped UFO came out, and it's fucking mind-blowing. And I'm that person, right? I'm the dude that says, I don't believe it unless I see it, John. Unless I see it, I don't believe it. Now, I know that you've been with the president when he's gotten sensitive information. I know that you know things exist that you don't want to talk about, but you've been researching this for a long time and going through this thing called the Blue Book. But explain to me what the government is releasing, first of all, then we'll get to some of the videos, and explain who these organizations are that have been like the Black Vault that's been trying to get this stuff out, because I think we're on the verge of actually finding out that aliens are real. That's what I think.
I mean, there's so many groups out there that I don't even know who's real or what their end game is. I think what exacerbated this whole situation with releasing this treasure trove of information, videos, and affidavits and sworn witness testimony is that for the last year and a half, everyone's been stuck at home. Everyone's become an expert researcher on whatever, and I think people started digging around. And the fascination for me is that this comes out during a global pandemic when, and obviously we're coming out of it now, I think, with vaccines and all this other stuff, but it's just fascinating. It's being pushed to come out now. And with the footage that's come out the last couple of days, it's pretty fascinating. And there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of experts and witness people that swear by this stuff. And what's fascinating, a lot of this footage they've released started like 1940s, 1960s under the thing called Project Blue Book. Was a bunch of military, Air Force, a bunch of generals and high up military people whose pilots and military personnel and people on bases and ships and stuff were starting to document with recordings, with sound recordings, with visual recordings of these unidentified flying objects. And to see that stuff starting to see the light now, you have people out there who for the last 20, 30 years, whether it's Dr. Stephen Greer, Bob Lazar, and some of these pop culture guys like Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 and some of these other people, Jeremy Corbell, like there's been this push where it's just like, oh, aliens, aliens, aliens. Well, now it's finally here. What these people do with this information, I think will be the next step to decide how we kind of deal with it. Because on one side, you have people like Dr. Stephen Greer who believe that these aliens and entities and everything else, they're peaceful. They're not here for war. They're here for exploration and study and research. You have people on the other side who think we gotta get our military ready. We gotta start the Space Force. We gotta do this other stuff because we gotta combat this outside force. Well, these unidentified objects and stuff is right here at our doorstep. I think whatever the next step we take is what's going to dictate how this kind of ends.
Like the relationship that we have with aliens. Whatever steps we take next.
Like
it's what the other thing too. Before I'll let you guys go. Obviously, the interesting thing is that we have the military, whoever, all different branches around the world have these different affidavits and testimony, all this stuff. And it's just kind of funny that there's this push of military against like pseudoscience or people in the sciences or whatever. They're kind of, there's almost like this pushback in the middle. It's like, well, here's proof, but how come we don't have people actually studying this stuff scientifically? It's always, oh, it can't be real, or it is real, but we'll tell these people to shut up. It's just a hot air balloon, and they'll believe it. We're at this day and age now, especially with the pandemic and COVID-19. People aren't just going to accept stuff just on face value. And so that's where we're at right now.
You know what I find interesting about where we're at and with the release of information, and I have a theory, John, and it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on this based on where you come from, your background. But my theory was that when Space Force was pushed to the forefront by Trump, and all of a sudden there was this conversation and it was joked about, but it became sort of the zeitgeist. And now we have this thing in the United States of America. My theory was that the reason why they started to sort of leak some of this shit was because they realized that there was this massive appetite for it. People were taking it very, very seriously, and that that they like the money that might be associated with putting together organizations in the United States from the government to build a group around it, right? So I think that it was premeditated in that they want to keep that money coming, and they want it to be upfront. Like, instead of $650 million over the last 20 years that no one knew about,
in a private slush fund for the stuff.
Yeah.
No, you bring up a good point, because when the first Space Force first came out, it's like, oh, were we talking Mandalorian? Is this Star Wars? Like, this is a joke. Well, it got put together pretty quickly and passed House, Senate. Like, this came together really professionally with top-notch people, men, women, all over to make up the Space Force. And you needed something like that in place for when this stuff does come out. And for me, the question I would have is how come this wasn't set up years ago, when you already had this, you're sitting on information from 30, 40, 50 years ago, how come this was never in place? Or was it already in place, but because of COVID-19, let's make this thing a visual, let's make this let's bring this out to the world that Space Force is ready to go. Because the fact it came together so quickly, with no one really questioning, I mean, there were people like, well, how much money can go here? I get that. But to your point, now it's out in the open.
Yeah.
We can send billions of dollars every couple of years to this Space Force entity.
They like money.
Well, yeah.
I got a question for you. Just looking at that last video, especially the one in Amsterdam where the giant Cool Ranch Dorito is in the air, and then it's just fucking gone, right? Like, what? A, that's horrifying, and it paints a very bleak picture of alien technology for us. And B, what could we even expect to do if, you know what I mean? It's almost like,
if there were thousands of those.
You know if that thing comes with 10 of them and like one, like, you know what I mean? Like, what is the point?
Well, let me play the video. Let me play the video, and it's a great question. And John, I'd love for you to answer that question. Like, if our technology is so far behind this, we're fucked, right? That's what you're saying. Yeah, here's the video. 100%. This was shot.
What could we do?
Nothing. We're fucked. That's the thing.
We're fucking cavemen.
Locke, listen, watch this video. This is from Amsterdam. Have you seen the pyramid UFO video yet?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Dude, I just saw this today for the first time when I was researching for this. The daylight one. I'll play you the daylight video. I'll play you the nighttime video. Exact same UFO in two different parts of the world. The nighttime video, which we'll get to in just a minute, was recorded, I believe, in the Indian Ocean by a U.S. destroyer. The daytime one was recorded in Amsterdam by some dude with a camera phone, if I'm not mistaken, John. Am I right?
A camera phone and a plate full of brownies.
And a plate full of hash brownies. But the video is about a minute and a half long. And what you have to do is you got to follow it while it's in the air and making moves, but you have to wait till the end, because that's what Graham's talking about. It's this supersonic, I'm getting the fuck out of here buzz vibe that you get from this thing, where you go, holy fuck, we are outnumbered by technology before we even start. Wow. What the fuck was that?
Badass.
What the fuck was that?
The technology.
Our impending doom.
Our death.
You know what I found very funny was John's comment about the plate of brownies. I when I saw that, I wasn't really paying attention to the noise, but it does sound like he was mowing down on something.
Yeah, I think he was in a cafe. You could hear like the plate rattling on the table.
Like a car driving by.
Yeah. Which his filming is actually pretty good on there.
But what is that, John? Like,
well, it's an unidentified flying object.
Well, no shit.
That's not even flying at this point. That is like,
yeah. Well, I think the whole thing is why with like Roswell and all this I think they're afraid of this technology getting in the wrong hands and weaponizing it. So a couple weeks ago, I read an article where this guy that used to work with Apple phone or smartphone technology, saying everything they're doing right now with the Apple phone and all this stuff, they were doing back in the 60s. And so I think we are purposely being led or told that our technology is current when it really isn't. Now, is that part of a plan to just kind of, again, keep the general public in the kind of the quiet in the bushes here? It's just, when you see stuff like that, it's your question before the video, is that there's nothing in the United States that can compete with that. Stealth bombers, and that's something that's
like that was like the speed of light almost.
I mean, that's what's, I think that's why you have these people that are saying if aliens do come, they're going to attack and destroy. Well, that right there would show you 5 of them, or maybe what if there's a ship 25 times the size of any ship in the United States coming? So it's just like, I don't know. It's very fascinating. I am curious though, when that video gets released, and I know it's happened in the past, anytime someone uploads weird footage, in the cases where it's not a hoax or there's something you really can't explain, there's no answer to it, those people are kind of brought into I'm not going to say a room per se, but they are kind of talked to. They are kind of talked to about their footage, and yes, you can post this, but send us what you have and that type of stuff.
Like in the States, is that the government of the United States that does that, or is that all governments, or is there like a UFO government that tells people?
Well, I would say I don't know if I would call them black hats or what. I mean, I know black hats, white hats. These terms always thrown around with whatever organization there are, but there are people out there that will respond to that type of stuff.
So if I recorded something in the sky like that and I put it out there, the black hats or the white hats would visit me.
Right,
these are government people from the United States. Where are they from?
They're all over.
What can you say, John? Go ahead, spill the tea.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that if it looks like the problem with a lot of the footage that comes out, and why I'm so skeptical of a lot of stuff, is that everything I've seen leading up before this, whether it's something like Bigfoot or questionable stuff or the Chupacabra or Mothman, all the pictures are bullshit. It's grainy. It's at night. The person's drunk, doesn't know how to turn their camera phone on. No one has a professional camera iPhone anymore, or they never filmed this stuff with a good camera. Well, this footage here proves otherwise. And the minute this stuff gets uploaded, and there's a lot of people sharing it and tweeting it, once it's out, you can't stop it. But you do have to find out where it got taken. They will talk to these people.
How old is that footage, John? The one that we just saw, the daytime one, the triangle.
It's this week.
Yeah, this week.
Okay. And that it is rumored to be the same craft that the Pentagon released, like ironically,
or whatever that shape is. I mean, I guess maybe you can look at the angle, like it looks like a Dorito chip, I guess, the whole time, but I don't know.
Is this some sort of elaborate guerrilla marketing campaign by Doritos?
I mean, this is a hell of a halftime show.
Graham, you're
Are we just hooked right here?
Well, this is a nighttime version, and this is from like a year ago, I think, or maybe even 2 years ago. A U.S. destroyer took this in the Indian Ocean. I mean,
I have a quick story about black hats, white hats, whatever you want to call it. So my co-host on the Locker Room, Grant Johnson, I have never met anybody who he's an amazing prankster. He thinks on another level, and he fucks with people all the time. And he's got a couple of just great stories about fucking with people. And one of his better ones was he took his friend's information and put in a UFO sighting to some organization in Canada on an official webpage. But what he did was he went online and he took a bunch of snippets from different stories and then made one story based on all of, like, he did a bunch of work. And Grant will spend a weekend on this. and then he put his buddy's information, contact info into the sighting and reported it. And they were calling him, this like Canadian organization from the official webpage. They were calling his buddy for about 2 years.
Because they wanted it to be real so
and I'm
bad.
like, I said to Grant, I'm like, no, it was an official government thing that he.
Oh, was it really?
Yes. And they were calling him. They were fucking serious. They wanted to meet with him and the whole 9 yards. And did he have any proof of this? And la da 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 da. So I said to Grant, I said, what did you tell them? And he goes, I don't know. I just took a bunch of information from all these different sightings and I sent it to him. I said, well, they must have fucking believed it.
Yeah.
And he said, well, of course they did, because this guy's phone was ringing and every time it would ring, he would just like, I told you, I didn't see anything.
So this is a Canadian organization, which means there's an organization in the States, right? Like, and John, you being, as close to the president as you've been, and then Obama on Colbert, we talked about this a while ago. Colbert asked him if there's aliens, and he dodged the question and kind of gave a wink and a smile. Were you ever with him in places where he got an opportunity to possibly see some technology?
I mean, I wouldn't know per se.
There we go.
Now, you asking if we've been to Area 51? No, I've never. In that sense, no. I mean, I don't. Again, you don't know what documents get passed over specifically. Like you're privy to certain stuff, but you never. If you're asking if I've ever been in
a briefing,
a bunker with UFO stuff, I'm going to say no.
President got a couple of drinks in him.
I'm going to say
but
no.
to kind of step back, the interesting thing, back in my job, anytime there is a death threat to the president or a threat to the White House, no matter how bullshit it is, there's agents that go to that person's door. It could be someone like Ted Nugent makes a comment that got taken out. It could be someone. It could be anyone that makes any open threat. Kathy Griffin, when she pulled the head up of Trump, the beheaded, she got agents to her door. And so if they're responding to death threats to the president of the United States, you don't think they're going to send people to respond to people with footage that no one can explain about UFOs? And on that, every time there is a released and Dr. Greer talked about this in his last documentary. He's actually working on another one. And a lot of the witnesses and stuff, if these people like him or Jeremy Corbell are having access to these individual people, now that they can talk, you don't think these other government people are talking to these people, hey, saying what you could say? I mean, we haven't heard from this guy that released this video. We don't know.
He's no longer with us.
Yeah, he's dead.
Well, he got sucked up. He should have worn a face mask.
Yeah, but like what I'm trying to drive at, John, is obviously you're interested in this for a reason, right? Like you were you always interested in UFOs, or only after you were the Secret Service detail for Obama?
Found out.
Well, I grew up watching like Predator, Aliens. Like I didn't like the movie E.T. Here's the thing: I love the idea of a violent alien because it's scared and it's defensive. I like that mentality of the creature because he's killing all the commandos, but man, I sympathize for him because he doesn't know where he's at.
Yeah, he's lost.
But I think what's crazy is that, to your point, what if these things started attacking?
Yeah.
That thing going at that speed, just dropping to the ocean, would create a tsunami that would wipe out the entire eastern, western, every seaboard. So how do you defend against that? What satellites, what technology do we have up there? Was Space Force always a thing? And now it's in public light to help, again, with the money and the funding to combat this type of stuff.
You think that's the primary goal of governments, is to protect ourselves from aliens, or is it to make contact?
And what's weird about all this, like a lot of times my friends and I will always, there are people that don't, I mean, do you believe that the moon landing was real?
Yes.
Do you believe that what we're doing in Mars is actually Mars?
Yes.
And not just a race to tell another country that we beat you first?
Yes.
No, I think it's real.
I think it's real.
Okay, so the follow-up, how come countries like China, who have just as smart people, or Russia, or other places in the world, how come they don't have satellites up there? How come it's always our news footage in Sky News in the UK, or up in Canada, or Brazil? It's always our controlled, decimated information.
Because they don't give a fuck what everybody else thinks.
I also don't think they give a shit about going to Mars as much as the United States does. They're like, go to Mars. That's great.
But now, I guess what I'm asking, how come no one can tell Russia they can't go to the moon?
No.
So that my whole process behind it is, who is telling these other countries they can't go in space? That's where I'm trying to. I don't know who those people are.
I don't think they've been. Do you think somebody's been? You think somebody told Russia they can't go to the moon?
Well, how come they have not up there?
They've been there.
They're too. They don't give a fuck. They're busy beating the shit out of their own people. Yeah.
I do think. I guess my whole issue is, I would think there would be more. Like, space exploration to me is just amazing, and the belief that something's bigger than what we are. And I think there's something really mesmerizing by that and sexy about it. I just find it hard to believe that these are other countries really pushing for the same thing.
Yeah, John, I hate to disagree with you, but I honestly think that we're in a time where there's a bit of separation just on overall philosophies as far as as approach. And I think, like, you got a leader in Russia that goes out of his way to poison people. He's years behind. He doesn't give a flying fuck. And not only that, a lot of the space exploration now is being driven by guys with too much money, right? It's not as much. I mean, I know NASA's involved in the Mars thing, but even isn't NASA getting a bunch of money from the private sector now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would be, because Elon Musk, whatever he's doing, he's the one pushing for SpaceX and all this outer limits travel and living on other planets and stuff like that. So there's money. We're paying for it.
Well, and the guy from Amazon that looks like a penis, what's his name now?
Bezos.
He's
got
a space thing too, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah,
they all do. So does the dude from Virgin Atlantic, right?
And I agree 100% what you just said. How come all these billionaires, Bezos and Tusk, how come they're the only ones that want this? I can't wrap my head around the fact that there's not some insane, rich, wealthy guy in India that's worth whatever, that's not saying, hey, how come we don't have our version of SpaceX? Mm-hmm. And maybe you are right. Maybe you're 100% right, where maybe we're the only ones that give a shit. And I find maybe there's a sadness to that as well. Because if this does break bad, why is it our responsibility to be the ones to protect the Earth? Mm-hmm. It seems like a very weird thing, right?
Yeah,
I guess so. We got to a point, though, where we're admitting it. Like, we're not even there yet where we're fully admitting that this is something that's real. You put 10 people in a room or 100 people in a room, and you're going to be pretty split on whether or not, somebody walked on water or whether or not there's aliens out there.
That's a testament to, we have people that still don't think COVID's real.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So
not Graham.
Graham
knows
it's
real. I think that it all is kind of blended together, where it's like we're at that perfect time now where just put it out there and leave it to the people to, like us.
Is this the perfect time though? I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to wrap my head around why they're releasing information now.
I don't even think I've seen information, other than these videos. Like, I'd love to know what they are, but I haven't seen any concrete information that aliens exist yet. And they put out 2,700 CIA released, I believe it was 2,700 documents that went back 70 years. It was published, I think, about a month and a half ago. Black Vault, the UFO enthusiast site, clearinghouse for related files, recently published all 2,700 pages. You can go to their website as well to read it. And in there are things like these videos that we showed you, and then documents like this, which you can't really read, right? So to me, it's like foreplay. I'm getting UFO blue balls. Because I really do want to know if they're real. And when the government comes out and says, yeah, we're going to release all 2,700 pages going back 70 years, you would think there would be a picture of a dead alien. You would think there would be an autopsy photo of maybe a family of aliens. You would think there would be a spaceship. You would think there would be a gun. You would think there would be some kind of technology that we could physically see or they would put on display. But they haven't done any of that. So for me, I'm still so far back mentally from in that same cast of, listen, these videos could just be really well done fucking, Fugazi videos that guys are putting together and giving to the government. But at the same time, you can't argue with what you're seeing when it comes to asking questions, right? Which is what we're doing. Is I'm asking questions, which is why I wanted to have you on the show today, John, because you know whether or not they exist. I think, and you refuse to say. So it'd be nice if you just said.
Well, and it's a little disconcerting that you're hinting at the idea that there's somebody making decisions for all of these countries. Like that's going to bother me.
Who is that?
This
Who's
weekend.
making all the decisions?
That's my question, because why this whole idea that I just can't wrap my head around the fact that there has to be, whether it is Space Force or another entity, where these other programs where it's like, hey, these people go up to space now, they can put this satellite up here. I mean, you don't think these other countries, there's other satellites and other technology up there? Like, there's just, I don't know, there's just something to it where
I think it's there. I just think we don't hear about it.
And maybe it's because we're not ready to hear about it. Maybe I just think it's a good time to do all this stuff, because the whole thing. I mean, you guys have had guests on there that are saying this pandemic's bullshit, and clearly we know it kills people and stuff. But what if in 20 years it turns out that the pandemic was just a flu, it affected these people, and then people are going to be like, well, holy shit, like, if they're lying about the aliens, they could be lying about the pandemic. And I know me and Dee always talk about that, but all this stuff that's coming out, it's like, who do you believe? It's just very confusing.
To me, is just another reason not to believe the U.S. government or our own government, right?
Oh yeah,
like you know, when they say we're going to release this information, you're like, okay, maybe some transparency would be good. We'll find out if there's fucking aliens, and they release all that. It's all blacked out. The videos are scratchy, grainy, shitty, and we don't really have any more information than we did. Like, I mean, you can release 2,700 pages, but if there's nothing on those 2,700 pages, who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah. So it's just a tease, and then it begs. Yeah. Cookies. Then it just begs the question. What John is saying is like, why are they doing this? Like, what is the motivation? Why? And that's the conversation we always end up having after we watch one of these videos on our show in the morning. Why are we getting this now? Why did they okay this? Have they just realized they can't hide it anymore?
Well, and you brought up a good point. You all did. The idea that if you just feed people crumbs, you'll keep them happy and full. And then when they're hungry again in another year, we'll give them a little bit more of that pizza pie.
Yeah.
And then we'll slowly kind of
I like pizza.
What they want us to believe or think this is.
Right.
Because you can't stop the stuff from coming out. It's gonna come out. I don't know what they have to do it the way they're doing it here, but you can't stop this from happening.
Do you know what I have a prediction, and I've been making it for the last couple of years, and it never happens because obviously it's a fun one to predict. But have you guys seen Arrival?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love it. Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, great movie. And I think we're going to have an encounter like that. I think that there's going to be something like that where there's this fucking egg thing hanging over top of a major city, and everybody in the world is going to be seeing it. It's going to be broadcast. I think we are not far away from that type of an encounter.
No, I would tend to. I look at Hollywood often, and back in the 60s and 70s when Stanley Kubrick was doing all this stuff, and like he was brought in, this rumors where he was brought in to film the moon landing, the first one that actually wasn't the real one. And so when you look at Hollywood, what they're able to film, it just find it very fascinating that a movie like that came out in the 90s could actually be what really happens. And so I know the whole thing is just super. It's super riveting, and I just wish it would come out. And
do you think there is definitive proof of aliens or alien technology on planet Earth? Like, do you think that? Well, I know you do. You do.
There's craft. They have all that stuff for sure.
Shocker, Locke thinks there's one.
Graham, where are you at? Graham's still struggling with the mask, but
no, I 100% believe there's something out there. The math doesn't make, the math just, there has to be, whether or not.
We have to be so selfish as a human race to think we're the only species, right?
Yeah, and stupid. Like, it's stupid to think
fucking arrogant as hell.
So I think whether or not we'll see it in our lifetime, that's where I have my doubts. But yeah, I 100% believe there's shit out there. for sure.
Now,
like not just because there's different forms of alien life form, right? Like,
I'm not talking
the shit,
microbial. I'm talking about
you're talking like people that
intelligent.
walk and talk with us.
Yeah.
Maybe they got gills.
Yeah. Maybe they've got fucking 20,000 mile an hour spacecrafts that can move from point A to point B in a blink of an eye, and it'll just destroy us all.
Yeah.
what's fascinating about
Well,
the
that's what we
Mars-
saw. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
what's fascinating about the Mars stuff is that here we are on Earth. We have to accept that we are on Mars because a handful of people say we are. So I mean, not to get tinfoil hat here or crazy, but I just think that I'm someone that has to see something, especially with the way the media handles stuff. I have to see everything for face value and see the facts. But we have to accept that we have a rover on Mars right now. Couldn't that be filmed anywhere? Who is telling us that that's real? And so that goes to my point where these people that see these videos and all this, it's just, I don't know.
And the time that we live in too, John, and we kind of touched on this to start, the time that we live in where nobody trusts the government, nobody trusts the government. To get like little chunks of information and to not really still have any definitive information, that creates a problem for people on both sides, whether you believe in aliens or not, right? And then you think about the time that we're in with the pandemic, and you've mentioned it a couple of times, where people think they're being lied to about whether or not there's actually a virus, whether people lied to about lockdown restrictions and totalitarian authority. We don't live in that world anymore where, if they come out and say something, we're going to fucking automatically believe them. And it just creates more mistrust, right? And there are a lot of people, like I watched that Bob Lazar documentary the other day.
So good.
And do you know anything about Bob Lazar? Chai? Do you know anything about Bob?
Oh, yeah. I watched the documentary. It was,
the Bob Lazar documentary. He's worked at Area 51, was taken in to work on some technology that he could not explain, was not allowed to talk about it. And then when he talked about it, he was treated like he was a crazy fucker. And now he's basically in hiding in the desert. And in the documentary, they were talking to him, and he never gives interviews. He seemed like he was like, yeah, it's there. I've seen it. It's not a big deal. But he was like so reticent to talk about it because he didn't want to be perceived as crazy, right? But if he's right,
but that's
and the
what we
government
did to
has
everybody
painted
over the
him like
years.
he's an insane fucking individual, I mean, it just speaks to the mistrust and how fucking crazy the government is. And I still don't understand why they won't let us know anything about it if it is true.
But I think part of the reason why Bob came out and actually did that interview is because we are starting to see a shift in how people that have sightings and make comments about it in the press are viewed and treated. And there's multiple examples of it over the last 5-10 years. Whereas 20 years ago, 25 years ago, if you're flying for Southwest and you call into the tower and go, I just saw something weird, they're going to call Southwest management and go, John's fucking losing it. He must be on pills. And so all of a sudden you're jeopardizing your career by making a comment, and now I don't think that's happening. There's people that are stable. They were in the military for years, flew planes for years. They've got families. They're not nuts. They don't have a drug problem, and they're coming forward with their stories, and we're treating them a little bit differently than we were a while. And so I think that's a bit of the shift too.
Correct. I agree with that. 100%.
So like, a guy like Bob Lazar, his story, have you gotten a chance to interview him yet?
Me, I have stuff in the works.
Yeah. Is what does he, for everybody that hasn't had a chance to, or not familiar with the Bob Lazar story, what does he say that he saw? What does he say that he worked on?
That would be all the spacecrafts, right? All the actual technology and like where it was located, how many floors down under the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he also talking about how. Sorry, go ahead.
I was also saying, Dean. He also originally commented. I don't know if you remember. I remember this back in the late '80s. I remember when this was a story. Yeah, because I was triggered by some of the footage that they ran on the local TV station in Vegas when they interviewed him in the van and everything, and they had his face like silhouetted out.
Yep.
And that triggered a memory for me. I was like, I've seen this before. I remember watching this because it went international, that story. But he also talked back in the day, and he doesn't talk about it now, about seeing somebody working on a body, right?
Right.
And he won't go there anymore. He talks more about the technology that they had.
Yeah, the
'cause he was
magnetic technology.
Yeah, the gravity propelled or whatever, and the reverse engineering, which is the reason why he was there.
Right.
Is what he's saying. So he sort of sticks to that, and he also doesn't talk about an element that he walked out of there with. And his story, he's stayed true to his story over the years as well, and some of it's come true, right?
Yeah, I think what's fascinating about a lot of these people, like to your point, is that it's easy to label someone crazy or a kook, and then everyone in the media can just pile on them. And I don't know. I feel bad for people like Bob because who are we to say he didn't see what he saw? And I know there's a lot of discrepancy with people when they talk about, well, he says he went to college or had training or work experience here, but they can't verify it, or his records are sealed or whatever. I mean, maybe he did see all this stuff. And what if he did? It's just, why are we afraid to let this guy out now? 30 years ago, sure, maybe people weren't ready for it, but I honestly think it's coming quicker than I think people realize.
Why does the government even hide this shit?
Yeah.
Well, it all goes to why I mean, there's a lot of stuff where I don't know. The government,
They're protecting us. They're there,
From
and they're
what though? Like
they got their jobs from ourselves.
See, okay, so here's the thing. Like, they protect us from ourselves, but they won't let us know about
being sarcastic, but
this thing. I know. They won't let us know about aliens when everybody wants to know about aliens. And half of the people that believe aliens are real think that they're going to be dangerous. Well, if they were dangerous, don't you think they would have told us about it? And if they weren't dangerous, don't you think they would have told us about them? Do you know what I mean?
Well, to your point, I don't need someone to protect me. Like, I don't need someone to look out for my well-being in the government.
Well, yeah, because you're a fucking
think,
Secret Service ninja, dude.
I think all of us as individuals and most people in society, they're going to make the right decision. They're going to, whatever they hear or see, they're going to do the right thing with it.
Right.
I don't need a government entity telling me you can't know about UFOs. It's not safe to know. Well, why not? Because who made you in charge of the world or the galaxy? Like, that's why I'm very just passionate about it, because I think I just the idea of a government agency or entity saying we can't let these people know about this.
So a couple of days ago, I saw a story about travel, and it just sort of caught my eye, and I read it quickly. I saw it on Twitter, and it was about the fact that international flights, at least almost every international flight, has a documented case of COVID. And then Justin Trudeau does a press conference the other day, and he's like, I think it was yesterday, and he says, you know what? Listen, we're not going to stop travel from other countries because there's just not enough evidence to show that COVID is coming in across our borders through international travel. And it's total fucking bullshit. And we all know it. And that guy can't even speak without looking like a complete fucking liar. But the thing that drives me absolutely insane is that these people that we put in power actually think that they need to protect us and lie to us about stuff. At some point, and I don't know when it is, and this is a perfect example of them hiding shit. At some point, somebody's going to realize that the damage that they're doing by fucking blowing smoke up our asses daily is doing way more fucking damage than the lies that are the truth and they would tell. Just fucking tell us. You're not shutting down international air travel because your buddy works at whatever company. I would fucking have way more respect for you if you did that instead of blatantly lying to us. And it happens. That's just one microcosm of what happens daily to all of us in every country in the world. It's happening in Canada.
Yeah.
It happens everywhere.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you guys watch Winter Soldier and Falcon, the Marvel show. The last episode
finale tonight. Don't talk about it.
I'm not going to talk about it, but
dude, seriously, you almost blew it for me, John.
One of the overarching things in that whole and if no one's seen can I talk about the first episode?
Yes.
Okay, so if you follow the comics, the Flag Smashers, this group of superhumans, they're basically giving a middle finger to everyone that they got displaced, and they're rising up against the people in the government, these other entities that are telling them after they came back from the blimp, they're getting displaced, they're refugees, all this stuff. well, yeah, it's a comic book and all this stuff, but when it comes to a head, when you drive people and tell people that you're doing this for their own good and they start to fight back, you're going to get that explosion of stuff. And one of the explosions that happened recently was the storming of the Capitol. People coming to a boil and clashing, and awful stuff happens. Well, as they slowly release this alien stuff, I think you're going to start getting that bubble where people are just like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, tell us what's really happening. Tell us what's really happening about the pandemic. Tell us what's really happening about all this stuff that's going on. And it just,
it's coming.
Yeah, no, it is. It's unfortunate. I think if it was handled better, we wouldn't be at this point where everything ends in violence. But it seems like that's the only way stuff gets done.
Yeah. Kritzer, did I interrupt what you were saying? You were going to say something earlier? No.
I mean, I think the last one you were just talking about if I was familiar with Lazar, so I was.
Yeah. And it brings up. Sorry, I wanted to come back because I thought you were going to say something. I apologize for.
I might have, but it's fucking long gone.
Okay, yeah, it's the COVID probably.
It's the COVID fog.
But you bring up a good point, right? Like, in all of this, and Locke's referring to it. We're starting to see rebellion. Like, we're starting to see people go fuck yourselves already, right? Like, I feel that way about our provincial government. I feel that, and this is a really big conversation about things that we have no proof of. But 2,700 pages and 70 years of documentation means something's got to be fucking there, right? And
they're only
for
that, I mean.
Well, I know there's more than that, but like, like a guy like you who doesn't trust the government, who worked for the government, would you say that there's an active? Well, yeah. I mean, is there an active? Yeah, this guy protected the president. He's like, I don't fucking trust any of these people.
There's certain people in the government I love, but there's an overarching thing where it's very, you just question. I mean,
but are they actively covering this up? Like, are they? Do you know that the government actively covers this shit up?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Because they don't know the answers themselves, I think, a lot of the times. And if they don't know the answers, they don't want people like us thinking and getting the answers before them, because then we're going to make a decision which would be beneficial to us as opposed to what's beneficial to these people.
So do they work with media to try and cover that out, or do they just feed the media the stories they need to know?
Yeah, I mean, I think stuff gets, you could put, us four could put an article out right now. We have definitive proof. We have aliens, put it out within a couple hours. That's to gain enough traction. You'll have people calling us, knocking on our doors, wondering what we have. I mean, that's how there are people out there literally combing for footage on TikTok to websites for these people that are putting out this content. And so,
want to try something, boys?
Is that Space Force? Yeah, we should put something.
Let's get her going, boys.
I don't think it's Space Force, because I don't think, but they're just like, look at the press secretary for the president or the press secretary for Trudeau or Putin. These people are in the know. And they're only saying what they're allowed to say, if that makes sense. And so while they're a talking piece, they're only answering the questions they're allowed to answer at that time and releasing the information they're allowed to at that time.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy that a Secret Service guy,
I love talking about this shit.
A Secret Service guy from the president, he's like, yeah, they fucking cover shit up all the time.
So, John, can I ask you another question?
Well, I mean, look at JFK. I mean, we're still talking about that assassination.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I haven't talked about it for some time, but yeah.
But people are still documentaries every year, and every year the assassination. There's literally History Channel 26 hours of whatever, and we got the fifth shooter. So I mean, there is
5 fifth shooters. How many shooters were there? The fifth shooter.
I mean,
you mean it wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah, he had a stunt double too.
So, John, I have a question for you. When you were working for Obama, was there ever a time where you were around him and his, like, did he have like a bat phone? Like,
so if he's on Air Force One or anywhere he's in the world, it's full Wi-Fi. I mean, this technology is, he can reach out and do whatever he wants wherever he is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say he gets a call. And did he ever like put his hand over and go, I'm going to need you to leave the room, John? Was there ever a time where?
I mean, because again, there's so much NDA. There's so much stuff. Like, like the people that leave the Secret Service, they can't write a book or anything for 20 years. Like there's some weird timeline. There's certain stuff you can and cannot say. If you're professional enough, now you might not agree with someone like Dan Bongino. He actually is a great guy. He obviously leads a little bit, obviously to the right or conservative.
Yeah, just a bit.
Just a tad.
Dan Bonino, just a little bit.
You
Yeah.
need your peripheral vision to see him.
He's a really good guy. He knows what he's doing. He's professional, badass training, everything like that. But he still doesn't talk about a lot of stuff he can talk about, and that's because he respects what he served under or the actual idea of the Secret Service.
Well, so, and I know from watching your podcast and listening to you more than a couple of times, you're in a similar situation. You just don't talk about a lot of the stuff that happened to you.
Yeah, because I guess I'm numb to it. I have met and seen every world leader, celebrity. I have been in the presence of from Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, to all this crazy stuff. And I'm just like, I'm numb to it, so it doesn't impress me. And I'm more impressed with the idea that there's really cool stuff that I had privy to. And I wish other people had these same experiences to kind of maybe appreciate life a little bit more.
You mean like aliens? Like that there's aliens and you can't really say anything?
That's what I was going to ask. How many people do you figure within the U.S. Department of, whatever, within CIA, NSA, how many people do you figure are in the know, I guess you could say?
When I was in Secret Service, I think there was
thousands?
There was less than 10,000 people in the Secret Service when I was in the world, which is a very, very, very small number. I mean, there's probably a couple percentage points of people that are aware of what's going on. And then up there, you're probably looking at a couple hundred people.
Like Department of Defense, like, I mean, like all those guys, like,
right. Like when you see
anybody have a seizure when they finally found out? Like anybody go, oh my fucking God, I knew it.
I mean, it'd be amazing. I mean, you look at all the Hollywood movies where you have all the leaders. It's almost like the UN, or if all the people need to know about what's going on.
Yeah.
Which all goes back to I've never seen like why. I don't know why I keep bringing it up, but I just like, why is Elon Musk and these people? No other billionaire wants to put money
go to space.
Towards space.
They want boats and hoes,
dude.
Yeah, I think there's just different types of personalities, right? Yeah.
Elon wants to go back to his people. That's why he's building the rocket ship. Right?
That's right. Yeah,
I love that guy.
Like he is.
I do too, but like he's keep in mind he's also really fucking smart, and he's also wealthier than almost every single country in the world. So
because he's an alien, he's an alien.
He's one of them.
We had the conversation about him. Have you heard about his? He's got some chip he's put in a monkey.
The neural link or whatever.
Yes, Graham. Thank you. He's got this neural link, right? Good. We were having a conversation about that because he had this monkey playing Pong with his brain, and there's video of it, and I'm like, holy fuck! And we're scared of Bill Gates, who everyone thinks is chipping everybody, and here's a guy going, "I'm gonna fucking chip you."
So literally,
I'm fucking putting a chip in you.
He just built a monkey Manchurian Candidate. I don't know if you've seen that movie, obviously, where they put it and they can, like, that's it. There it is. Manchurian Candidates everywhere. That's what he just built. Everybody's like, cool. It's so cool.
It's crazy because you look at those movies like Independence Day, they actually tried to create this neural link between human to alien for communication. It's like, well, man, what did these Hollywood people, these supervisors,
what do they know?
I think subliminally, a lot of times Hollywood and the news will put out different stuff that is basically them giving kind of a wink to us saying, hey, this stuff is available. Because Independence Day 2 came out six, 7 years ago. And now we have a guy in a lab putting chips in monkeys' brains that they communicate and play video games, like all this stuff. It's like, you don't think this technology's been around or is just here? It's here.
Yeah, you'll have to forgive me. I wasn't brave enough to watch Independence Day 2 because I made the mistake of watching Independence Day. Yeah.
Is there a 2?
Yeah, there is.
One.
Yeah, there you go. You talked about Air Force One. How fucking cool is that plane?
Great song by Nelly too. Sorry.
Yeah, excellent.
Was that now 25? When you are when you walk into like the Air Force or Air Force One, you walk in there. It's like you walk into like a hotel corridor hall, like a lobby. You can't really even tell it's like a cylindrical shape. That's how crazy and if you see the movie Air Force One, it's actually the closest movie to that, how the layout and stuff like that.
You got anti-aircraft stuff on there? You got some.
Hold on, there's
some
three
weapons? What kind of
Independence
weapons?
Days.
What kind of weapons
What?
you got on that? Hang on, relax. I'm asking
Is
about
one of
weapons
them
on Air
a
Force.
porn?
Will you guys be quiet? I'm asking
Into
about Air
penis
Force
day.
One weapons.
Into penis day.
What do they got?
Three. Sorry.
What do they got on there? You got some stuff?
There is nothing that would ever take that down, unless it was that ship from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
That's high.
Is there a like? How about the Beast? Have you been in the Beast? Have you ridden the limo?
Yes. Yes.
And is that thing really
Usually-
fucking cool?
When we would fly to other countries, we'd ride with the C5s and C17s in the back with
Yeah.
like the tactical vehicles and stuff that we need the Beast brought to these countries and stuff. And we'd have to watch it, secure it in the hangar, and it just like I mean, there's some we've took some really cool pictures with it. It's just kind of cool. Like the people think they can they'll do like these training days and demo days for like families and all these people come and hey, try and open the door of the Beast or actually see how heavy this is. 9 times out of 10, people can't open the door. Because there's certain ways to do stuff, and there's all this. You don't realize how thick the glass is and what it's made out of, and it's the technology for that stuff is very mind blowing.
Do you get to
where'd you
shoot
get
at it with
that?
a gun?
Area
I
51.
never have, but people do though to test the glass and the vehicle.
Jesus,
Really? What kind of snacks did Obama have on the Beast? Like, what were his go-to snacks?
he was a smoker.
Pizza combos.
Yeah, he was a smoker.
Yeah, is he a Newport or a Parliament guy?
I don't know if I actually ever saw the brand because everything in the White House is White House. Like, see, even they'll give
So
out.
he had
he'll
like
give
a
out-
cigarette case.
It said the
silver.
White House.
He'll give like the M&Ms are all branded with the White House logo on them, like the actual
Fuck
M&M
off.
company.
Come
Yeah.
on.
And so all the marketing is
Jesus.
in White House lettering and boxes. So you don't see any brand stuff per se. Now I can walk in
Sportsman.
there. I can walk in there with a Coke can and stuff, but that you're not. That's not being put anywhere. You're not seeing that.
Right.
Everything is kind of disguised. So I never had to buy him cigarettes, or I never.
You never had to go.
No? You have to go
Walk
get
around
him
to go-
smokes. Hey,
Some
Johnny, go
Walmart.
get me a pack of smokes.
John,
But
go
the
get
whole
me
thing-
some pepperoni sticks and some darts, bud.
Hey,
smoking
Johnny,
darts.
smokes. Let's go. Johnny, smokes. Let's go.
Johnny, do
But,
smokes.
yeah.
Court Trevor.
I'll catch
Did
you
he-
next week.
Did he? Was he always nice to you? He seems like it seems like you got the president you'd want to serve under.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Someone in that position, when you have the weight of your shoulder. I mean, the guy aged within the first 4 months.
Yeah, he
Like white
did, yeah.
hair, got slower. Like he went from playing basketball with Reggie Duke, his aide, and all these basketball players, NBA guys, to the White House courts. To I'll do a couple of jump shots. I can't be running around here because I think the toll of the world and
Yeah.
whether you like him or hate him, that guy still has to carry everyone talking about him every day. Yes, he chose to be there. He got elected.
Mhm.
That's on him. But there's so much going on in his day where you get the gentle nod, you'd see the handshake or the hey, how's it going type stuff. Where you saw like the interactions were like the core staff, Brennan, the press or the Raul Emanuel, the first couple, whatever. Pete Souza, the White House photographer, the family, the kids, Sasha Malia, the mother, Michelle. They were more apt to. You see them out just being like normal people, if that made sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But he still, there's never any issues per se.
Was he kind of like a Phil Dunphy kind of dad? Oh,
Yeah.
come on. Fucking Obama. Shut up.
Al Bundy.
Yeah, I think here's the thing. You can say what you want about his political beliefs and stuff, but I don't think you'll ever say he was a bad father, and that's a testament to him being a real. I think deep down, I think he was a good guy.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean he wasn't a good guy. I mean, we all live in a world right now where dads are a joke. Like, I'm
Well,
living
yeah.
that life, right?
Yeah, yours is self-involved though. That's your problem, not everybody else.
Mine may be
Ostracizing.
self-induced. You're right, but yeah, there's no man of the fucking house. You kidding me?
Well,
So I was just curious as to. I mean, it looks like Michelle wears the pants.
I would say when someone says, "Where do you want to go to dinner?" She's telling them where they're going.
Ding. We need a fucking bell. We should get sound effects.
But she was great too. Like it should. I think they had a really cool. They still do, obviously, but just I mean, they were. I think they were loved. Like they were
like
happy,
normal people.
like,
yeah.
Right. It's just. I think
He seemed like a good guy.
It seems, I guess, when you that spotlight, it gets exacerbated, everything under a microscope, and he said this, she's not talking to him. But yeah, they were great, and fuck Hillary Clinton.
Tell these guys a story about the time she called you a cunt.
That's awesome.
We were at, I think,
Where's your memoir?
Maya Angelou had just passed away, and I think we were in Carolina, somewhere on the East Coast, at the church. I think it was wherever we were.
You were in a church? This is even better.
And so Maya Angelou, her body is literally like 30 yards away from where I'm stationed on the back church steps. So people that come through, I'm not going to say what the procedure is per se, but you know who they are based on communication and like lapel pins. What if they're good to go? Do you sweep them? Non-sweep? Are they coming from a clean site to another clean site? Well, say someone like Hillary. Hillary's always, you never searched her. She came from a clean site, but the people in her group, they had to be searched. And in normal circumstances, if it's like a campaign event or a speech or wherever they're going, there's less time. There's not an urgency to whatever. There's not a spectacle per se. Well, so mind you, Maya Angelou's body's 30 yards away. Hillary gets dropped off by Department of State because Department of State watches her when she was
secretary.
Yeah, when she was secretary, Department of State carries them, but they still fall under the Secret Service umbrella because the president's there and all these other top-notch people. She comes out, she gets dropped off. I get a look from the Department of State guy. He looks at me, and I got the sense, oh, shit, she's having a bad day. Well, so she comes up the steps of her party. 2 or 3 people with her are good to go inside. I think maybe Chelsea had already walked in with Bill, but they were already inside. She's coming late from her Department of State stuff. Huma, who was married to Anthony Weiner at the time, the guy that posed naked and posted pictures to other women a month before, wherever gets in trouble.
Of his cock.
Yeah, yes. To underage girls, which he went to jail for. Yeah.
Right. And so, with all that going on, I stop Huma. I got to go through your purse, ma'am. Just whatever. She was actually cool with it because she understands that, hey, you're
just doing your job.
Right. Well, I literally start going through her purse. It literally could take me 2 seconds. Obviously, 9 times out of 10, these people are clean. And this is just like hey, just make sure. Like, I know who you are, but I do respect to
formality.
I love the formality to my boss, the president. We got to do this. I go through a bag, I'm about to say, hey, you're good to go, and check the other people behind her. Hillary kind of backtracks out and just basically says, you fucking cunt, you know who this is. We got to get inside. So I'm like, you know what? No problem. We get inside. I look over to a bunch of other Secret Service guys, a couple of K9 guys, Department of State team, and they're just like,
sorry, dude.
Yeah.
That is a good title for a book, though, John. You can totally steal it.
I call home, and I'm just like, man, like this is the most. Like I just got called a cunt by Hillary Clinton. And what's funny?
That's a great title.
What's funny is that she's notoriously a very mean. No one wants to work for her. No one wants to deal with her bullshit. Now, I'm not talking about her being a mom or a wife or any of that stuff. How she just treats people in public, very high and mighty. And
you don't get that sense watching her on TV.
Yeah,
no,
she
not
seems
at all.
like she's so fucking friendly,
she
John.
seems reasonable.
God. Like she'd be the worst guest for this show.
Can you imagine?
She seems like she loves talking down to people.
Yeah,
like it seems like it didn't matter that it was you, John, and I hope you didn't take it seriously when Hillary Clinton,
I care less.
Who almost became the president of your country, called you a cunt.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking cunt.
Yeah. You know who this is.
She seems like she would be a ton of fun to hang out with.
Maybe she's upset about who she married.
Yeah, probably.
That's a whole other conversation.
Not that I want to give her an out because I don't know her, nor do I care. But maybe all those trips to that fucking island.
Were you super happy that you to Jeffrey Epstein?
Where's Bill again?
Were you super happy when she lost the election?
Fucking island.
Yeah, because I really don't like her. I do not. There's something. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing with her, though, it's fascinating, is that she's very, and I don't like talking politics in a sense, but I think this is something that.
Well, we're not talking politics. We're talking about a woman who's treated you like shit.
She called you a cunt.
Yeah. What I find fascinating about it is that she, as a female, she'll be all this Me Too stuff. Well, she's still with her husband, who did the most heinous act you could do, adultery, in the White House Oval Office with another woman. And it's like the hypocrisy of someone like Hillary preaching this stuff. That's where you could do an action. Just don't be a hypocrite about it. Mm-hmm. So it's just for her for that reason, it just, I mean, I don't know.
I'm just constantly shocked by the like levels of hypocrisy in any organization, government in particular. Right. It's amazing to me.
Right.
Like, didn't they just have Bill Clinton on some like how to empower women thing? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It goes to what we said earlier when we started this, is that I think people are starting to question a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And there are idiots out there, clearly, on both sides, but majority of the population, we're smart enough to realize that, hey, you can't be pulling the same tricks with us. Mm-hmm. Like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy ends here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
here's Donald Trump to talk about the integrity of online social media posting. I mean, like, what the world is just like, it's unbelievable. It's so.
But you know what? It's funny because I had John on the show a couple months ago, and I'm like, oh, the Secret Service guys probably fucking hate Trump. And he's like, no, man, they love him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and we have this opinion of him because of what we see, right? And Johnny, like, to a man, the Secret Service guys that you're pals with that protect him or maybe still protect, they think he's a good dude.
Yeah. Say hi. Always very personable. And I think that comes with Trump being more from a business background, like the handshake, like kind of like the get to know you. But people were never, I mean, no one left with Obama. Like I think what happens is that the media and these outside forces kind of dictate what how people they want people to react or think about certain stuff.
Right.
But he never heard a bad thing. I haven't heard any bad things from Joe Biden. So I mean, it's just people have their personal opinions and views of these people, but the people that work there, a lot of times it's a job and you have to work. You can't. There's nothing political about what you do in the Secret Service, but. Hey man, like I don't know, like.
Do you ever see Obama drunk?
I've seen him drink. I'm trying to think the drunkest. I mean, I've seen. There's been parties. Some of his parties he would throw where in one room you'd have Seal and Beyonce and Jay-Z over there. Big League would say like some guy from Duck Dynasty. Over here would be like Mick Jagger,
Tom
Kid Rock, whoever, John Favreau, and then you'd have all these athletes. Like it was just.
Crazy.
It was
Al
a
Sharpton.
hodgepodge of Al is maybe the worst. Just a hodgepodge of just crazy.
Who's the drunkest world leader you've seen at an event?
Boris Yeltsin.
Probably a Russian dude.
Dalai Lama. No, I'm gonna say
the Dalai Lama
loves to get his shit on big time.
Dolly's a toker.
Yeah, he loves Jaeger. He loves Jaeger bombs. And Pabst Blue Ribbon. No, I don't know. Like I've never seen when I did.
Like, did you ever see Stephen Harper, the Canadian Prime Minister, all geared up on Molson Canadian? No,
he was the one before Trudeau, right?
Yeah.
When did he take it? When did Trudeau take
the hair that looked like a mushroom?
Like 5-6 years ago.
2014.
Okay, so your Prime Minister. Funny story. I don't know if I told you this before Trudeau. We were at the United Nations at the Waldorf Astoria, where all the meetings are.
Yep.
He had just walked off the street without a detail. Literally not a single Department of State, Secret Service, whatever. His pin was on wrong. I stopped him right at the bottom right before the lobby. And I go, sir, you can't come in here. Like, who are you? And it was more polite. And whoever it is, his advanced guy was outside, but never relayed inside. Hey, he's coming in.
He was outside having a smoke.
Having a dark.
So he was never in harm's way because everything's shut down with a radius. But he came in without any identification. He's like, I'm the Prime Minister of Canada. And I'm like, man, I so want to believe you. Because the night before,
look at the hair.
Otto was up there drunk the night before playing piano for all the world leaders in the lobby of the Waldorf. And so this morning, I'm just like, oh God, it was such a long night. This guy, I swear to God. But sure enough, I call up there. They come down from that. Yeah, it's the world leader.
Some fucking guy down here.
He
Yeah,
does.
that's
Some
the world
fucking
leader.
clown
Yeah,
with the
he
weird
does a
hair
thing.
down there.
He does a thing, and he's like, thank you, sir. Like, he does his thing. Literally, a couple hours later, he comes up to me and kind of gives me like a little handshake. Says, "Hey, man, thank you for doing your job. Like, I'm sorry I came in here hot. Like, I was late." And I was just like, you know what, man? All good. I'm just doing my job. Thank you for coming down here. Now that I know who you are, if you want to walk into your bathrobe tomorrow morning, let's do it. So, yeah, I forgot about that.
That's a good story to have. Everybody hates him up here. Everybody thinks he's pulling all the conservative strings.
See, I don't know enough about him per se. I just know that he was nice to me. And see, I don't. When I'm working, the politics are the last thing on my mind. So
Right.
I just see these people at face value. Where if I saw him on the street again, I could be like, "Hey, remember that time I accosted you on the steps of the Waldorf because you didn't wear your lapel pin and your blazer was all backwards? Like, remember that?" I just
He came from a
people
drink.
like that are cool. And him,
Yeah.
Tony Blair,
Your fly
all
was
those guys-
down.
Was that the
Fly was
same
down.
hotel and the same UN conference
Wearing a
where you had to
beaver
go
hat?
upstairs and
Yes.
some guys
Oh.
from the African detail were sacrificing goats in their room?
Yeah, that was the year after at the Mandarin Oriental.
It's a great story.
So yeah, I think I told you this, right, Dean? So
A little bit, yeah, you got into it.
When the UN happens, it's like 3 to 4 months or 3 to 4 weeks in New York City, where all the world leaders come in with their entourages. In some of these countries, one of them, I think Ghana or the Ivory Coast, I was responsible for with the team on the floor of the Mandarin Oriental, where hey, they get this whole floor with their entourage, and mind you, I think it was Ivory Coast or Ghana. Their entourage, it looked like something on Coming to America. Like the flower petals, dresses. And it was, but here's the thing, it was super awesome. I was like, man, this is so insane. Like this is only stuff I see in movies. Like this is real life. This is so cool. They were all great. They were friendly, all this stuff. And then, but one morning they leave and we're going through doing the sweeps and stuff and all this, making sure no one gets on and off the elevator. And the next morning, the people came out and go, they literally tried killing like a goat and a chicken in the bathtub. There's blood and feathers.
No.
Swear to God.
No.
Swear to God.
No.
And so this cold,
What do you mean try? Like I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
they probably
Put me in a
got
room
it all
alone with
the
a
way.
goat. I could fucking get it done. Might take a while,
If you
but
saw this goat. No, so it's just funny.
Well,
how-
hopefully they were trying to kill it. Like,
Right.
hopefully they weren't trying to do other shit to it. That's what I'm saying.
right.
are you judging?
Nope.
But it's just fascinating. These cultures, these countries this is what they do. And for me, it's very eye-opening.
Mm-hmm.
That was also the same trip that I met my former boss, Chad Kroger, where he got off the elevator on my floor with him and Rob
And
Zombie.
said,
Rob
"Look at
Zombie-
this photograph." Sorry.
He got off the elevator. He stepped off the elevator. It was him. And it was Rob Zombie and Sherry Moon Zombie. They stepped off the elevator. I go, "Hey guys, can't whatever." And obviously I knew who they were because I'm into music and stuff. And then literally a couple of years later, when I'm out, I ended up doing security, and our company still does security for Chad Nickelback.
That's crazy. Can he suck his own wiener? Have you seen him do that? There's a rumor that he could fillet himself.
That is not. I don't know where that came from.
I think it came from him. Said he did it once at a party for a case of beer when he was like 19.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
pretty
know.
flexible, but
I don't know if I believe
I got a dick size issue.
Same.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'd need a
good stuff.
couple more inches.
Good stuff.
John Guarnieri, he is the host of Spear Talk. JM Guarnieri. You can get Spear Talk wherever you get your fine podcasts, including YouTube. Just hit 8,000 subscribers. His last podcast is terrific with Donnie Dust and Barry Kirsch from Shinedown, who you also do security with.
Yes, it was a
Shinedown, great fucking live band.
Yeah,
They're so good live.
they're good guys, and
Yeah.
blessed to be with them. And yeah, episode was great, super awesome, and I got some cool stuff coming. The one with Dean and Rick Allen Ross, Colts, is coming up in May. That's super rad. Yeah, so we'll have to do another one. Maybe you guys jump on mine. We'll bring in someone like Dr. Greer or someone like that, and just really get off the wagon.
These guys.
Kidnap Bob Lazar, and
Yeah.
You got to get Bob Lazar on.
He
John.
should be
I'll
used
watch
to be
that.
thrown
Fuck.
into a van and blindfolded by now.
Yeah, you know how to do that, right? You probably had to do that a few times in your Secret Service career.
Get into the van. I'll have it back for dinner.
We'll have him back by 9, I swear. Get the
I'm
fucking
hearing
van.
Metallica. I'm hearing Metallica in my head.
Dun, dun, dun.
John, appreciate you being here, brother. Check out John's Spear Talk podcast. Really appreciate you taking time with us and going through some alien stuff and talking about things you're probably not supposed to, but we really appreciate you doing it.
And remember that you can use that for your memoirs.
Yeah.
She
Hillary
called me
Clinton
a cunt.
Called me a cunt. That's what the book should be
that's a
titled.
fucking book. I would download that.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Dude, that's a page turner. Do you know how many people will be walking through an airport? They'll see that at Kohl's and they'll say, "Excuse me, did I just read that Hillary Clinton called me a cunt? I'm buying that book."
You just need, and you don't even need to use her name because that's going to be difficult to get that onto the cover. You just need to dress up as Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And then you're in her suit
Yeah.
on the cover, and
Yeah,
it just
the
said she
pantsuit.
called me a cunt. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a pantsuit. John in a pantsuit. You can
Dressed
pull
like
it off.
a 1970s vacuum cleaner. Yeah. God.
Riveting. New York Times.
Dressed like a 1970s vacuum cleaner. Graham Kritzer at Graham Kritzer on Twitter. Maybe the best follow on Twitter as well.
You're funny.
He's
You're funny, Graham.
unbelievable. Yeah. Every day is a new adventure for Graham.
Thanks, fellas.
Appreciate you joining us today. I'm glad you're over the COVID. Glad you finally believe in it. That's good news.
Fuck off, man.
You didn't believe in it.
I did believe in it.
You were calling me a pussy like a year and a half ago.
Gonzo, who's,
He's off the deep end, eh? Is he ever? I know. I was
Anyways,
having a fight with him on Twitter.
I always believed it was real. Anyway, you know what?
You
never
just
did.
didn't.
Yeah?
No, you didn't.
All
Admit it.
he said, Dean, I'll paraphrase.
Thank
He
you.
said, I knew it was a thing. I didn't worry about it because it was just killing the old fuckers, and I don't care about old people.
More or
He
less.
did
This is
say
what
that,
Graham said earlier.
Yeah, or the
right?
vulnerable. He also said, I don't give a fuck about
Or the people that were
vulnerable.
sick and they should have worked out, right?
Yeah. I believe he said, fuck the vulnerable. In the
I said
middle
all
of that
kinds
podcast.
of things.
I
All
said
kinds of-
something horrible on the show today because Jimmy, the midget on the show, we got him signed up to get the vaccine, and he's getting the Pfizer one next week. So and he qualifies because the
He's morbidly
BMI
obese. Yeah.
Yeah, he's qualifies as morbidly obese because he's 4 feet tall and he weighs 140 pounds. And
Jesus.
so we're like, it's a fucking loophole. Sign up. Go
Is
get
he
the
Jay's
Pfizer one.
Catcher.
Yeah. and then I got signed up, my wife and I, because I'm 50, and they opened up the AstraZeneca. And I said, so you're fucking fat
Yeah.
and you
You
get
can
the
get the good
fucking good one? Yeah, that makes no sense.
No.
I take care of myself. I eat well. I have a drinking problem, but
Yeah.
that doesn't qualify. I didn't see that on the list of fucking,
You're good.
Now I got to
depends
get the
what you're
shitty one.
Yeah.
I get the AstraZeneca, right?
Dude,
Right?
I got it. It's no big deal. I got my piece of shit paper here that says I can go to the movies or go to
Yeah,
a restaurant
Tubby-
and I'm good.
But old
No
Tubby
issue.
gets the good one. He
Yeah,
gets
can
they're
do
all
it.
good, dude. They all present you from dying. Are you going to get the vaccine, John? Or are you going to wait or no?
I'm gonna wait until it's mandatory. I mean, I still can't get it in Massachusetts because they're still going through with the age group.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my parents.
So
got
you are going to get it at some point. You're not against it. You're just waiting.
No, I want more. I want more people like you guys to get it, so I have some numbers to base off reactions to stuff. But my parents got it, and I understand that there's no microchip like that. For me, I don't even get the flu shot, so
Yeah.
I'm just very healthy, and I don't like interjecting stuff in my body that I know I'm not going to get. Maybe that's me just acting with a God complex, but I love seeing numbers, and if I don't have to get it, I'm not going to get it. But if I do have to get it, I know it's for the greater good, and it's going to help other people, and
Smart.
maybe you'll snuff this thing out.
Yeah, boy. Graham, whatever, man. You got yours and you'll be fine and whatever.
I got the original vaccine, right?
God's vaccine.
God's vaccine. Just the way China intended.
Well, listen, guys. Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter, at SilverSpear44 on Twitter for Johnny, at Graham Kritzer on Twitter. All great follows, all great people, guys. Thanks so much for doing this, and we'll catch up with you in the next little bit. Lach, I'll see you
Nice
Monday.
to meet
Graham.
you, Graham. Nice
Thanks
to
for
meet you,
coming
You
on.
guys, nice to meet both
Thanks
of you
for
guys.
having me, Dean. I'm going to go
Thanks,
get drunk.
fellas. All right,
Fuck
go
yourself,
do
Dean.
your thing. Thanks, buddy. That's Graham Kritzer. That is John Guarnieri. Thankful they could join us today to try and uncover whether or not aliens exist. Do they exist? Do they? I still don't think it. I still don't think they do. There's something, but I just fucking show us. Show us the ships. Show us the guns. Show us the bodies. Show us an alien. Introduce us to an alien. Why can't we do that? They know that the aliens are real. I'm fucking want to see them. Thanks to our friends at Blue this morning, our friends at Blue Microphones, the official microphone of DeanBlundell.com, 32 podcasts in the network. All of them sponsored by our friends at Blue Microphones, at Blue Microphones on Twitter, or you can get them bluemic.com. Check out every one of their microphone offerings, all of their audio offerings, including these MoFi headphones. Again, I use the Blue Yeti X. Get it. It's terrific. You can do everything with it. Blue Microphones, at bluemic.com. bluemic.com or at Blue Microphones on Twitter, part of the Blue Crew. Nice to be here. Black Rose Organics, better medicine at a better price. I got a call today from Paul. He's like, hey, man, tell people that they get like $175 ounces only if they sign up for the medical thing. You get a medical thing. You know what a medical thing is? It's called a medical license. And where you can get one? Super easy. Shop.blackroseorganics.com. Go to shop.blackroseorganics.com. 30% garlic sherbet. That's how high the THC is. Yes, the medicine works. You want to make sure your medicine works, especially if you're a medical patient. If you want to become a medical patient, they can help you with that too. Shop.blackroseorganics.com. Thanks to Ed and his Gitch. Gitch3 is your promo code, GITCH. Underwear for men, boxer briefs. They've got the pouch in the front, great waistband, no piling, luxurious underwear that he will send to you in this pandemic. Or you can go there. They're in Markham, but why go there when he can just send you what you need? Wait till the whole thing is done and get yourself some Gitch. 4 for the price of 3 when you use promo code Gitch3. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate you and your Gitch. Wearing them at the moment right now. Domination.com. DMNTN.com is the name of the company that we deal with, and they help us with all of our production stuff. It's artificial intelligence that helps produce all kinds of commercials, promos, and everything that you need to be successful doing anything that you put out on social media, any shows, any clips, any highlights, anything like that. Usually it takes like 2-3 hours to record a promo. Now it takes like 7 minutes to get 72 pieces of content. Go to DMNTN.com today and try them out for free, Domination.com. And thanks to our friends at Easy Auto Financial, easyautofinancial.ca. If you're a subprime person, meaning if you're having a hard time with your credit, maybe the pandemic's been hard, maybe you lost your job, maybe it's just tough, maybe your credit rating stinks, or maybe it doesn't, and you really want someone to help get you approved to buy a vehicle, help get your lending done to buy a vehicle, and then send you to someone that has the vehicle you want. That's what they do. They match your lending with a dealer that has the car that you're looking for, and you do it all at easyautofinancial.ca. Again, easyautofinancial.ca. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of the show. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Not once.
Oh shit. I think we need to hear that again. I loved it so much. Everybody has to laugh quietly. Stay dry.